My name is Sanketh Srinivasan. I go to Phoenixville Area High School in Pennsylvania, and I'll be talking about ransomware detection and cybersecurity. So what is anomaly detection? Anomaly detection is a method of identifying ransomware in a data set. It's been very helpful in terms of strengthening device security. However, even though anomaly detection is around, ransomware has been surging. Studies show that companies have been asked ransoms up to $6 million due to ransomware, and ransomware has shown a 300% increase over the past few years. So my research question was, how can anomaly detection techniques be optimized to effectively identify and mitigate ransomware attacks? My topic was ransomware detection and cybersecurity, techniques, challenges, and future directions. Now, the significance of this topic of researching anomaly detection is because it is the only thing that's preventing hackers from compromising your data, important data, such as bank account details, login credentials, credit card information, social security numbers. My objective in this paper is to provide a possible solution for enhanced early detection, so predicting malware and ransomware before it becomes trouble. So I read around 30 different articles and used databases such as JSTOR, Gale eBooks, and ProQuest. And these are the 5 most relevant articles to my topic. So Samperis goes over what is ransomware, how does it work. Tataneni goes over how anomaly detection works and how it is used to combat ransomware. Lead and Core J et al. Go over tools that are commonly used for anomaly detection. Chandola v. et al. Go over the benefits and challenges, as well as the implications and pros and cons of different anomaly detection algorithms. Xu and Zhu go over real cases of ransomware and anomaly detection in action in the real world. So what is ransomware? Ransomware is a malicious program that is employed by hackers to gain access of information on a device. They do this by encrypting files and often demand ransoms in order for the user to get their files back. However, even if the ransom is paid, there's no guarantee that the user will get their files back. What are some benefits of anomaly detection? So one benefit is early detection. So this is detecting anomalies and ransomware before it becomes much of a nuisance. Enhanced security. So this has helped companies a lot because it is able to identify patterns in networks and it tracks down ransomware. Fraud detection. So for example, financial institutions may employ anomaly detection to identify fraudulent transactions and suspicious activities. So that's one example. Some challenges with anomaly detection, however, are false positives. So false positives is when a detection system calls or reports a program as malicious when it really isn't. Data imbalance. So before an anomaly detection system is used in the real world, training data is inputted into it to train the system to identify malicious programs. However, some instances of data are put into the detection system more often than others. So the data that's put in more often, there's more instances of that data, is known as the majority class, the majority data. And the data that isn't put in as much is known as the minority data. So what this does is that it causes anomaly detection algorithms to be really good at identifying ransomware in the majority class, but not the minority class. Data quality. So how good is the training data that's being inputted? So the worse the data, the less accurate the data, the less accurate the detection system, and vice versa. Dynamic environments. So let's say a specific type of data is inputted into a detection system to detect ransomware in that specific type of data. But if that same system, the same algorithm is used to identify ransomware and anomalies in a different type of data, then it won't work as well because it doesn't have training data, it doesn't have experience on that type of data. So here's some common tools for anomaly detection. On the table, you can see 5 different tools: Microsoft Azure, Elastic, Splunk, Anodot, and Weka. So first of all, the approach. So
Sanketh,
how is
or is it just me? Sorry. Sorry. Okay, it's my internet that's unstable.
okay. Okay, so the approach. So how is each uh tool used? How do they use AI to be used? Are they used by machine learning? Or do they use anomaly analytics? Ease of use. How complex is it to set up? How easy is it to implement? Real-time detection. Are they constantly surveillancing for anomalies? Are they constantly surveillancing for ransomware? Customizability. So let's say a company wants to use this tool for a specific purpose, to identify ransomware in a specific type of data. Can this tool be customized for that purpose? And then best for, so its strengths, weaknesses, what it's weak at. My methodology. I gathered qualitative data from secondary sources on cases of WannaCry, Target, PayPal, and Sony. So in 2017, over 200,000 systems in 150 different countries were affected by this virus by exploiting a vulnerability in Windows systems. And this all happened in just a few minutes, which is kind of the main part of it. And it demanded ransom payments in Bitcoin. So Sony, PayPal, and Target are each examples of large corporations using anomaly detection. So in Target, in 2013, 40 million customers' credit card information was compromised. And even though they had anomaly detection system in place, it still costed them $292 million. And the detection system didn't pick up on it. PayPal, for recent years, they've been using machine learning algorithms, and they have reduced fraudulent transactions by 50%. However, it's only 50%. That shows that ransomware is still able to bypass the system. For Sony, in 2013, thousands of files and unreleased films were compromised, costing them $35 million to fix. Now, even though they had what is known as behavior and anomaly detection, which just tracks the behavior of networks to find anomalies, it still wasn't enough. It still didn't work, and it still costed them that much money. Findings. So because of the constant theme of anomaly detection systems picking up on early cases of ransomware, it shows how continuous monitoring is vital when it comes to reduce the damage of ransomware. And it shows how early detection is really important in ransomware. A conclusion. So because of the evolution of ransomware and how it's constantly changing, it's necessary that organizations keep on adapting their anomaly detection strategies to make it stronger and counteract this. And traditional methods are becoming less and less useful because as ransomware is growing and as it's changing, traditional methods aren't able to keep up. Additionally, because of things such as data quality and inbounds data, it reduces the performance of detection algorithms by increasing the amount of false positives and making them less accurate overall. Finally, as generations have more and more volumes of data to control, the harder it is for anomaly detection systems to identify anomalies. And what it also does is that it increases the amount of false positives. So by using a model known as random forest. So random forest uses what is known as decision trees. Now think of these decision trees as an expert in their own field. So each decision tree is kind of an expert in its own type of data. So random forest consults with these decision trees to track down anomalies and viruses. In fact, it is so good it has a 0% false positive / negative rate. However, when the training data is imbalanced, they're known for being not very accurate and not as effective. Therefore, by using a machine learning algorithm known as BERT, so what BERT does, it has the ability to kind of backtrack data and identify imbalances. So by using that, it can substantially increase the efficiency of the random forest models. So this is useful because, or this result is good, is a good starting result because it adopts an advanced machine learning for ransomware detection in BERT, because BERT is machine learning. It enhances contextual understanding. So what this means is just how effective is the algorithm, how many false positives, and it reduces false positives a lot. And it prioritizes real-time detection capabilities. So is it constantly monitoring for anomalies, which it is. Limitations, however. Limited scope of anomaly detection techniques. I was only able to find 3 out of all the sources I find, out of all the sources I found on anomaly detection techniques. Also, the lack of generalizability. So I wasn't able to find very good scholarly articles, like much of them. Most of the articles were in the gray due to the newness of this topic. So I think it also resulted in a weaker conclusion than I wanted to have. So yeah. Also some ethical limitations. Invasive surveillance. So people complain that anomaly detection constantly monitors what they're doing on their device, which kind of also plays into privacy because anomaly detection also can gain unwanted access into files and data that a user may not want it to have. References. A huge thanks to Dr. Monica, Professor K, and Coach Joe for their unrelentless support throughout this experience. They helped me prepare for college, and throughout this experience, throughout this research, it made me more aware about how big of a role ransomware detection has played in my life. Because before I took it for granted, but now I know how much, like like how many challenges it goes through and like, all the implications of it. So that's my
Yeah, you can stop sharing. And yes, I will have Dr. Monica. Dr. Monica, question for him. Let me just pin you so that, yeah, go ahead, Dr. Monica.
Hi. First, I just want to say what an amazing student. I'm very impressed with his work ethic and what he's done and how hard he's worked on this presentation and his paper. Just really pleased with him. So anyway, I have a question for you. So what would you say is the biggest benefit of your approach for organizations trying to prevent data loss or downtime?
I think the biggest benefit is how accurate it is because of the random forest model. And even though the random forest model has a weakness when it comes to imbalanced data sets, the BERT machine learning algorithm clears that up and it makes it infinitely more accurate and reduces all the time and effort that it takes for companies otherwise.
Okay. Can I ask one more question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So how could your ransomware detection help like regular people? Why is this important for, so not, you obviously you explained the organizational approach and it's explained in your presentation. What about like the regular person in their house? How is this actually going to help them?
Or it can protect them in many ways because it can keep their sensitive information such as social security, credit card information, bank account details, and maybe other login information. It can keep them safe. It can keep them from being compromised. It can also prevent them from having to pay a huge ransom and losing lots of money.
Okay. Thank you.
Wonderful. Dr. Monica, a few questions for, I'm sorry, Dr. Cake, a few questions for Sanketh.
Okay, can you hear me well?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I was meaning to ask a different question, but then Dr. Monica opened it up. I actually received an email from my spam. It's kind of like a ransomware, something like that. Like if
Wow.
they will release my information compromise, but I don't really have something to be scared of for
Mhm.
for me to ransom anything. But yeah, in relation to what Dr. Monica mentioned, how can regular people, is there any anomaly detection that I can use as a regular person to prevent this from happening to me? Can you recommend something?
I mean, there are many like apps out there that can constantly track and monitor programs on your device. For example, my mom just recently went to Best Buy and she got their like app that like tracks like malicious programs like on your computer. And I have it on my computer right now as well. That's definitely been protecting me. Huh?
Okay. All right. So I'm going to follow up on that. I'm going to see. Okay. But then in relation to your paper,
Mhm.
I'm meaning to ask, how did you ensure that your, should we say, your secondary data is relevant to your study? Or how did you ensure the quality and the reliability of your secondary sources?
Because I made sure all the data that I got were from scholarly journals slash articles, no matter how scarce the articles were. And I made sure that the author were credible and made sure that whatever institution they belonged to was credible. So that the data was as accurate and as good as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Great job, Sanketh. And Sanketh, I want to tell you that you'll be invited back to be intern. So you will be given 2 students whom you will mentor them, right? So you can put it in your application that it is like a proper internship that we offer. So you will help them, the other students as well, with their research. And also it'll help you, like if you get your Python certification and other things, help them through the journey. Okay, so our spring program starts like in January, and we'd like to invite you to come back and mentor them, and we will offer you the kind of paperwork that goes with it. Okay.
Okay, thank you. That sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so thank you so much.